It's been a year since I took the plunge and bought myself one of Scuff's Impact for PS4 and PC controllers, and without really diving into this review video, I will say that I've been really happy with my purchases. If you're looking for a reason to buy yourself a Scuff Impact, I would say just do it. You will be really happy with your purchase and it will make your gaming experience better. It's just been a great controller and has made my gaming experience much more enjoyable personally. Before we get too far into this review, I want to make it clear that I'm basing all of my thoughts and opinions off my personal use experience. When I was first researching the purchase of this controller, I found a lot of negativity online and documented technical issues surrounding paddle failure and stick drift. Paddle failure is when one of the back paddles stops registering input and no longer works. Stick drift is when one of the analog sticks registers movement in any direction when you're not touching it. Now, I'm not discrediting anyone's claims to those issues. I'm just saying that I've never had experienced any of these on either of my two controllers, and they work as good as the day I bought them over a year ago. I will say that I thought my Knights of Scuff that I bought later was starting to have the stiff drift issue, and I was like, oh crap, here it is. But I found that it was a problem with the stock thumbstick replacements that Scuff offers as an accessory that you can purchase separately after you purchase your controller. The quality of those sticks are not the greatest. I found some issues, actually quite a bit of issues with the L3 and R3 button presses on both of the analog sticks as well. So if anything, I would give those sticks a bad review, not the controllers themselves. Because as soon as I swapped those sticks out, everything returned to normal and everything works perfectly as if the day I bought both of these controllers. Let's talk about build quality and ergonomics. The Scuff Impact fits my hands really well and I have medium to large size hands. The controller's shape is visibly different. It's not the same as what you would experience on PlayStation DualShock 4 controllers. It took some time for me to get used to it because of its shape, but after a week or so gaming with it, it felt great and I don't really want to go back to that DualShock 4 controller form factor. Button placement and feel make it so that you feel right at home with an improved gaming experience because it is based off the DualShock 4 controller. It's perfectly shaped to fit the 4 additional custom mappable paddles on the back of the controller. You will notice that the Scuff branding has worn off of the outer paddles on the back of my first Honeycomb Impact. That happened within a month of my use with the first Impact that I had. And I was like, oh great, here's a early sign to the crappy quality of it, but it's just a printing issue. I'm happy to report that it looks like Scuff has fixed that quality control issue because on my Knights of Scuff Impact, the paddles are just fine. And I've been using that for over 7 months now and no wearing has occurred. I'm glad they improved it because it looks kind of crappy with a half-worn branding on the paddles. As far as the functionality of the 4 paddles, I am also happy to report that they have held up really well on both of them and still work flawlessly. Glad I haven't been one of the many people that have reported problems with their paddles on the back of this controller. Now let's talk about the military grips on the back of these Impacts. I will say I had some concern over the durability initially because it has a soft touch feel. I got all black on my Honeycomb Impact and I can say that it has held up really well with no issues of peeling or weird wearing issues or anything like that. I don't have sweaty hands, so I can't really speak to that. If you have sweaty hands, I don't know how that's going to affect it. It may have a different effect. On the Knights of Scuff, I opted for a blue colored military grip and it is much softer and doesn't have as much grip as the plain black. I haven't experienced any discoloration or fading with that colorization of the military grip like that on the paddles of the Honeycomb, but it is significantly smoother and isn't as grippy as the plain black. If I were to go back and redo it again or make a recommendation to you in choosing, I would say just get the plain black. It's cheaper and it is much better quality in my honest opinion. My final note as far as the build quality goes, the sticks are still functioning perfectly on both of these controllers for me, and I've experienced 0 drifting issues with either of them as far as my controllers go. My issue is with Scuff's quality of the physical sticks themselves. The sticks that had come pre-installed on my Honeycomb Scuff Impact have worn significantly. Additionally, the stock Sony sticks are hit and miss in the quality department as well. I've ordered 3 sets so far and 2 sticks from those 3 sets are bad. I also ordered some replacement sticks for the pre-installed ones that you can get with the controller, the different, the concave ones. and they are the same material. I would just recommend you purchase additional set of sticks with your order from Scuf, just so you can have an extra set with you in case you have the same issues that I encountered. I know you're already spending a lot of money on their controllers, but adding an extra $8 or so to your order will be well worth it to you in the long run. I just want you to have a good gaming experience, and if you're already spending a ton of money on your controller, so adding $8 shouldn't be that much of an addition. I wish the custom sticks that come with the Scuf were better quality plastic. Don't get me wrong, the custom sticks feel great initially, but they don't hold up long enough, and they start to feel like crap, and they're all mushy, and then they get sticky after you wipe them off, and it's just crappy plastic. Scuf, please do better with your sticks. I'm no professional gamer or streamer, but when it comes to performance of the Scuf Impact, it has significantly improved my personal gameplay. I would say that I'm predominantly a first-person shooter type of gamer and only venture out into other games when a new Resident Evil hits the scene. To be completely honest with you, having 4 paddles on the back of this controller, it's completely sensory overload when you first get it in your hands. It took me a good 4 or 5 months just to get the hang of just 2 of them. I'm still trying to adjust and lose a lot of gunfights sometimes because I pushed the wrong paddle. There's a solid couple of decades of muscle memory pressing face buttons that I'm working to break. I mean, this was the first controller that I ever played games on. This is probably older than most of you that are watching this. It's really nice to be able to keep my thumbs on the thumbsticks and make movements or, take action while I'm doing other things in game. Making face button presses on the back of your controller quickly is definitely something that you're going to need to practice doing. The back paddles are pretty well spaced and are distinctive enough to make very calculated presses. You just need to practice. You can remove any and all of the paddles, which I did when I first got the controller. I played quite a bit with only 2 paddles just to get used to it. This was to help me in making that adjustment. That helped a ton and worked great in getting me started with paddles on the back of my controller. After a couple of months into using just 2 paddles, I added the 2 inner paddles. That was a huge struggle for me, but I can say now that I can't use controllers without 4 paddles on the back of it anymore. It's just something that I must have. Having all 4 of your face buttons on the back of your controller is absolutely game changing. It makes you a better player. I can do everything while keeping my thumbs on the sticks and making movements within Call of Duty Warzone. In all of this struggle, I've come to realize that I guess I'm finally becoming the boomer in the lobby. Yep, I'm getting old. The thumbsticks have functioned perfectly for me. I like that you can swap out the thumbstick easily with any variation and combination that suits your playing style. I've experienced no drift or lag with either of the thumbsticks on either of my controllers. I will take this opportunity to say that I wish Scuf would implement a tensioned increase option when you're ordering your controller so you can increase the tension of your analog sticks. I could see a lot of value in having an increased tension thumbstick when playing first-person shooters in fast-paced gameplay. It would make people like me that overcorrect during gunfights when engaging targets that make me much more accurate and get on target quicker. I really love if they could implement some sort of tension increased or like harder tension on the thumbsticks. That I would buy that. I would buy another controller right now. The adjustable trigger control system is pretty great. The less actuation on trigger presses is a game changer in my opinion. You're able to aim and shoot much quicker than that on a standard controller or your competitions that is on a standard controller. The good thing about the trigger control system is that you can flip the switch on the back and go back to having a regular gaming experience. This is good for games that require a level of pressure like you would need in racing games, for example. Additionally, you can further adjust the hair triggers on the trigger control system by removing the trigger cover and making adjustments by the 0.9mm Allen key. This makes it so you can lessen the trigger travel even more and get quicker response times. I will preface it by saying that you're going to want to get in a practice lobby or something and adjust it, because I overcorrected when I first got this controller and I thought it was broken. That was just my ignorance. I backed it off a little bit and it worked fine, but it took some finagling because if you go a little too far, it keeps the button engaged all the time, or just you barely touch it, and you don't want that. That's a bad experience. So the trigger control system is the best of both worlds. You can also customize your controller with digital bumpers and triggers if you want to. I did a full comparison between the two with the video here on this card. If you want to check that out, take a look at that. You can have digital button presses on the triggers and bumpers, and it's something that I can never not have on a controller going into the future of my gameplay. I know it's a double negative, but I absolutely must have digital bumpers and triggers on my controllers going into the future. To summarize, this upgrade gives the triggers and bumpers button actuations that are now button presses with clicky sounds. More of a mouse click type of noise, so you immediately get a response on that button press. I would say that they are only for first-person shooters. They do not and will not work well for games that need different levels of pressure on the triggers, like that of like fighting games or something like that. I have a very difficult time driving around in a Warzone because of this, and always require my teammates to do the driving because I always get us killed, so I avoid vehicles at all costs when it comes to Warzone with that button. With that, I mean, if you go to play Call of Duty Blackout, you can drive around with thumbsticks. I don't know why Warzone didn't do that, but anyways, I wish they would. They're not going to, but I wish they would. Let's get back on topic. The starting price is $150 for the Scuff Impact, but that's with no customizations at all. Getting all of this customization comes in at a pretty hefty price though. I kitted out the Scuff Impact with the most expensive shell, best button kit, and colored military grips, and that brought that price in at over $270 at the time of this video. That's insane, and it's a pretty hard sell for me to make to you if I'm being honest, as you can pick up a brand new PlayStation 4 console on Amazon right now for $250, even less, brand new. If you want to pick up a Scuff controller, I would just wait until they run a sale and take advantage of it then, and then get yourself a Scuff. I would also wait until the PlayStation 5 comes out. Maybe that's gonna have some effect on the pricing. I did a Max My Scuff promotion and got my Knights of Scuff for $190 and bought my Honeycomb pre-built for even less on their ready-to-ship site. This was before they were acquired by Corsair. It all boils down to having some patience and waiting for a sale to happen, and I would say do that. There's a couple of things to consider and some recommendations that I'd like to make to you. If you game competitively or are a gaming content streamer, this controller will be well worth the investment and will pay for itself many times over in your usage. I am absolutely sure of that. I would definitely recommend it to those of you. I mean, you guys already know that. I'm sure this is not the target audience, but you guys know that you need professional level gaming controllers, and these are pretty good controllers, if I do say so myself. If you game on a PC and enjoy using a controller, the Scuff Impact is probably something for you to consider as well. The last piece of advice I have for you is I would wait, like I said before, until Scuff runs some sort of promotion before buying if you're not in either of those categories, and just game casually like I do. I bought it because I'm a content creator and I wanted to share my experience with you over the year that I used both of these controllers. Hopefully this is helping you make a purchase decision. I'll leave links to the pages where I shopped for ready-to-ship controllers. I have nothing to disclose with those links though, as I am not affiliated with Corsair or Scuff in any way, shape, or form, and you clicking on those links do not equate to me getting anything in return. I bought these controllers with my own money, so I thought I'd make this review for you. And my conclusions? They both have been fantastic controllers over the past year that I've been using them, 7 months for the Knights of Scuff. And I would recommend the Scuff Impact to you if you game at a level that is over just casual gaming, meaning you're either a professional level gamer, streamer, or are trying to take it beyond just being a pastime and you're trying to grow yourself into being an online streamer or something like that, or be a professional. If that's the case, buy this controller. Do your best to get a discounted price, and I'll try my best to leave it linked in the description if I find that they're running a promotion. Always check down there, click around, that should help. And with that being said, if you can get the Scuff at a discounted price, even if you're a casual gamer and want to just win more games, which I am totally in the category I am myself in, then I would definitely recommend it to you. If you're just a casual gamer, can get it at a discounted price, then why not? And you have the money, get it. You're gonna have a better gaming experience, I guarantee it. I'm excited to see what Scuff has in the future development, as they were just acquired by Corsair. I've been really happy with both of my purchases. Honestly, I had quite a bit of buyer's remorse when I bought my first Scuff, But as of today, a year later, I've purchased 2 of them and couldn't be happier. I absolutely love both of these controllers. I will say that I use my Knights of Scuffs more because it's digital bumpers and triggers. And when it comes time, I'll be the first in line when they do something custom for the PlayStation 5. I hope that Corsair's acquisition of Scuf brings down the price of the standard Scuf controller, and they work out some of the bad online rhetoric that is going around and do better with their quality assurance, but only time will tell. Before I close, I have nothing to disclose. I bought both of these controllers with my own hard-earned cash. If you want to check out my comparisons between the trigger control system and the digital bumpers and triggers, I'll leave that linked in the description. Watch that video if you want to see the differences between the two. If you want to see my unboxing experience of the Honeycomb, I'll leave that link down there as well. If you're interested in pricing and availability, be linked in the description. No affiliation. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas, and I will catch you in the next one.